All right, so we got some of the best news that we could possibly get today. This is the best thing that I've heard in a long time. What is that, KTV? Caitlin Clark, let it be known live on camera. I'm 100% healthy. We're about to get the GOAT back, y'all. We're about to get the damn GOAT back, and I can't wait. The GOAT is 100% ready to go. We got to break this down. Welcome to Keep the Vision. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe.
Caitlin Clark just delivered the kind of statement that stops an entire league in its tracks. In a moment that felt both decisive and historic, she addressed her condition live on camera, laying out her health status with absolute clarity. The uncertainty that had fueled debate for weeks evaporated instantly. Fans had been clinging to updates, analysts kept circling back to the same question, and teams quietly wondered what they might face on opening night. Now there's no doubt left. Clark confirmed she is fully healthy and cleared to go, shutting down every rumor in one sweep. And with that confirmation comes a new reality for the WNBA. The league's most electrifying star, often called the generational talent of her era, is gearing up for a return that could reshape the season. No cryptic hints, no half measures, just a direct message that she's prepared to compete at the highest level. This announcement doesn't just reset expectations, it amplifies them. The countdown has officially begun, and every team is now on alert. If her words are any indication, the upcoming season is about to take a dramatic turn, and the spotlight is already shifting toward what happens next.
We're hearing it from her mouth herself. This is something that people all off-season people, oh man, well, Caitlin's not saying what's going on with her injuries. And hey, we wanted to know directly from the horse's mouth. Why? Because we know we can't trust Stephanie White. We know for a fact, we can't trust Amber Cox, Kelly Krauskopf, and the Indiana Fever organization, which is why majority of us don't even want her training with the Fever this offseason. We want her to go train with Drew Hanlon or Chris Brickley somewhere in another.
For months, speculation spread like wildfire, fed by Clark's own acknowledgement that lingering injuries had crept into even the most relaxed parts of her life. She mentioned she couldn't enjoy golf the way she used to, an offhand comment that quietly revealed just how much her body had been battling behind the scenes. It was a small detail, but it spoke volumes about the hurdles she'd been working through long before fans ever knew the full story. That glimpse into her day-to-day limitations gave everyone a clearer picture of the uphill climb she faced. It humanized the recovery process, showing this wasn't just about missing games, it affected the activities she used to enjoy without a second thought. So when she stepped forward with a firm, unmistakable update on her health, the magnitude of the moment hit even harder. Supporters who had spent weeks piecing together scattered clues finally got the clarity they needed. The uncertainty that had hung in the air for so long was finally put to rest, closing a chapter defined by guesswork and opening one filled with renewed confidence.
Do 5-on-5 basketball activities, and I believe unrivaled. Look, listen, all of y'all running to these other leagues, the Project B's, the unrivaled. You better, because she's 100%. And if there's a WNBA 2026 season, she's gonna tear y'all asses up. Oh, it's gonna be hell to pay. Trust me. She is gonna have. She probably got names written down. MVP is already solidified. She's winning MVP next year if there's a season. She's winning that. Asia Wilson, you get that. That reign is over. You was lucky she was out this year. That reign is over.
Because trust between the Indiana Fever's leadership and the fan base had worn dangerously thin. Supporters had grown skeptical of every official update, brushing aside statements from figures like Stephanie White, Amber Cox, and Kelly Krauskopf, convinced that only Clark herself could deliver the unfiltered truth. This level of doubt revealed more than simple impatience, it exposed a serious transparency issue surrounding the team's communication. Fans felt as though key details were being softened, delayed, or lost behind layers of PR messaging, and they wanted clarity without corporate polish. In the end, Clark had to step forward personally, cutting through the noise to reassure the enormous community that rides every high and low with her. The frustration among supporters was impossible to ignore, and their demand for authenticity made her on-camera confirmation even more consequential. It wasn't just a health update, it was a moment that restored confidence where it had nearly disappeared.
Over. You was lucky she was out this year. That reign is over. I cannot wait for Caitlin Clark to be back, but I am still worried. I am still worried. Not only there's a CBA negotiations that's going on that the main people in the WNBA don't seem to have much interest in. They seem to be worried about getting contracts with Project B. The other ones seem to be worried about running their league in Unrivaled. So it seems like it's a whole bunch of conflict of interest going on that could derail Caitlin Clark from annihilating all of these ladies in the...
Distrust had grown so intense that a noticeable portion of the fan base openly encouraged Caitlin Clark to spend her off-season training anywhere but the Fever's own facility. Supporters urged her to work with high-profile specialists like Drew Hanlen or Chris Brickley, even if it meant relocating across state lines for months at a time. To them, this wasn't just a preference, it was a protective measure born from repeated concerns about the team's overall development structure. Such a dramatic suggestion signals just how uncomfortable fans had become with the environment surrounding their franchise centerpiece. It's rare for followers to advocate that a star distance herself from her own organization, and the fact that this sentiment gained traction speaks to a deeper worry about whether the current setup can meet her needs. For Clark, it creates a unique and delicate crossroads, one where loyalty, long-term health, and career growth all intersect. And for the Fever, it highlights a reputation hanging in the balance, with public confidence teetering at a critical point. If they can't rebuild trust soon, this divide may shape far more than just off-season decisions.
I'm still trying to get my bearings underneath me and my willingness to be open to the Indiana Fever and Stephanie White being trustworthy and doing right by Caitlin Clark. I have a bad feeling that we just can't trust them. We can't trust them, y'all. Like from the injury standpoint, where there was no transparency, I feel like we were clearly lied to about injuries. We had Scott Agnes and Chloe Peterson giving us different information. Not to blame them, because hey, salute to them. Y'all doing y'all jobs, trying to work.
The Fever's training facility has become the center of heavy criticism, with some fans insisting that injuries seem almost unavoidable inside its walls. Commentators have referenced alarming examples, including an incident where a staff member reportedly suffered an Achilles tear on site, an anecdote that only intensified existing fears about the environment. Whether isolated or part of a larger pattern, these stories have circulated widely and taken on a life of their own. Accusations like these paint a stark and troubling picture, prompting many to question the overall safety standards and day-to-day operations within the building. Concerns that might once have been brushed off as overreactions are now being discussed with seriousness as people evaluate what kind of care players are truly receiving. For fans watching Caitlin Clark's career with so much hope, the implications are hard to ignore. They worry not just about her immediate readiness, but about how well the organization can protect her over the long haul. The scrutiny is no longer limited to performance, it has shifted toward the fundamental issue of whether the environment itself is supporting or endangering its athletes.
Ridiculous and embarrassing. It felt very scammy. It felt very scammy toward the people, and we just didn't like it. So I don't feel like we can trust y'all on the health and injury, the health and wellness front, but also don't feel like I can trust you guys with roster construction. I've heard Stephanie White go on camera multiple times talking about how she wants to build this team around Kelsey Mitchell. Wrong flag, red flag. I think that is absolutely ridiculous for her to even utter those words. Ridiculous. This is Caitlin Clark's.
Now that Caitlin Clark has confirmed she's operating at a full 100%, the green light is officially on for her to return to unrestricted 5-on-5 basketball. This isn't just a minor checkpoint, it's the moment that signals she can dive back into the complete, high-intensity workload her game demands. Every boundary, every precaution, every modified drill she had to endure is now lifted. The journey to reach this point hasn't been simple. Her recovery required patience, discipline, and a level of focus that often goes unseen behind the highlight reels. But this clearance represents the true turning point, the moment where rehab ends and her comeback genuinely begins. What comes next is the version of Clark fans have been waiting for, the player who can sharpen her timing, reconnect with her rhythm, and attack the floor without second-guessing her body. The sense of anticipation surrounding her return grows by the day, and with this milestone reached, the countdown has taken on a new intensity. Everyone knows the stage is set, now it's only a matter of time before she reintroduces herself to the league on her own terms.
Talking about how she wants to build this team around Kelsey Mitchell. Wrong flag, red flag. I think that is absolutely ridiculous for her to even utter those words. ridiculous. This is Caitlin Clark's team. This is Caitlin Clark's show. That's the reason you actually came over here from Connecticut. So I don't trust Stephanie White in terms of, I feel like she's trying to prop up Kelsey Mitchell over Caitlin Clark when I feel like they can coexist. We watched them play great basketball post-Olympic break. It was beautiful basketball to watch, and it was must-see TV. But I don't trust Stephanie White. I don't feel
the speaker's confidence in Clark's looming return borders on unwavering, painting a picture of a season that could redefine the league's hierarchy. Their prediction is bold, an MVP-caliber campaign that sends shockwaves through every contender. According to this assessment, Clark isn't just coming back, she's preparing to deliver performances that could shift the balance of power across the WNBA. The commentary went as far as suggesting that established stars, including Aya Wilson, may soon feel intensified pressure from Clark's resurgence. While such claims are undeniably audacious, they reflect the immense expectations placed on a player many already view as a generational force. It's not merely about her return, it's about the belief that she could tilt the entire competitive landscape the moment she steps back onto the court. If these predictions hold true, fans may be witnessing the early stages of a genuine rivalry, one defined by elite talent pushing the league to new heights. A clash of titans is on the horizon, and the anticipation surrounding that matchup is already fueling some of the most spirited conversations of the upcoming season.
Howard in here and gave her all types of promises, which is why she got to the opening podium and said she would like to win MVP. If that wasn't we ran past a lot of the stop signs. Us Indiana Fever fans, we were so excited to watch Caitlin Clark do damage in year 2. We flew past all of the warnings. We can't trust them to put the right team around Caitlin Clark. They brought Natasha Howard in here and promised her that she'd be up for MVP. She's talking about, I would like to win MVP. What? You the fourth option. And you shouldn't have even been that.
A major obstacle still hangs over Caitlin Clark's highly anticipated return, the ongoing negotiations surrounding the WNBA's collective bargaining agreement. The speaker expressed deep concern that key league figures appear distracted by outside ventures, specifically projects like Project B and Unrivaled, rather than focusing on securing long-term stability for the league. To them, it feels like a troubling conflict of interest, one that could potentially undermine the structural foundation Clark's comeback depends on. If leadership's attention is split, the ripple effect could stretch far beyond the season. The speaker warned that neglecting the CBA could compromise competitive integrity and create uncertainty heading into 2026, a year they believe Clark is poised to dominate. The fear is simple: if decision-makers prioritize personal projects over the league's future, players and fans alike will face the consequences. Such a scenario would be devastating, casting a long, worrisome shadow over the growth of women's basketball. The speaker didn't hide their skepticism. They openly questioned whether league officials were negotiating in good faith, a serious claim that underscores how fragile trust has become. If the process lacks transparency, the entire framework of the league could be jeopardized, putting everything, from team planning to fan engagement, at risk. The uncertainty surrounding these talks threatens to disrupt not just Clark's momentum, but the stability of the WNBA itself. And this isn't the first time transparency has been an issue. Clark's initial injury situation left fans confused for months, with conflicting reports coming from otherwise reliable journalists like Scott Agnes and Chloe Peterson. The speaker clarified that the reporters weren't at fault, but their inconsistent updates highlighted a pattern of withheld information. Week after week, the official injury lists labeled Clark as day-to-day, followed by vague game-time designations that offered little clarity. For many fans, this long stretch of ambiguity felt deeply frustrating and, at times, misleading. They struggled to get straightforward answers about their favorite player's condition, fueling suspicion and resentment toward the organization's communication practices. When Clark finally addressed her health directly, the honest confirmation felt like the first clear breath after months of fog. Her openness re-established trust where it had eroded, showing the power of transparency when everything else feels murky. But the speaker's concerns go beyond injuries. Another major issue is head coach Stephanie White's repeated insistence that the team should be built around Kelsey Mitchell. To the speaker, this strategy is baffling and fails to reflect Clark's enormous influence on the franchise. They argue that Clark is the centerpiece, the transformative star, and the driving force that drew widespread attention, and even staff, to Indiana. Suggesting a roster centered primarily on Mitchell, in their view, misreads the team's true trajectory. It risks creating unnecessary tension within the leadership structure and undermining Clark's potential impact. Still, the speaker acknowledges that Clark and Mitchell can coexist beautifully on the court. They pointed to the post-Olympic stretch as proof, calling it some of the most enjoyable, must-watch basketball of the season. The issue isn't chemistry, it's vision. Concerns extend to the team's broader roster decisions as well. The speaker criticized the Fever's free agency choices, including bringing in Natasha Howard with lofty expectations that didn't match her actual role. Howard publicly discussed competing for MVP, despite realistically projecting as a secondary or complementary option. To the speaker, this highlighted a disconnect between how the franchise sells roles and what actually unfolds on the court. Another example was the controversial contract situation involving Dana Bonner, which the speaker described as the team investing heavily without receiving the return they anticipated. Whether the departure or performance fell short, the outcome added to a growing list of puzzling personnel decisions. In their eyes, these missteps reflect a front office still struggling to build a consistent, championship-caliber roster. The speaker admitted that Fever fans, swept up in the excitement of Clark's arrival, overlooked many of these warning signs. The energy she brought into the organization was so electrifying that fans didn't want to acknowledge deeper issues lurking beneath the surface. Now, those concerns have resurfaced, demanding attention as the team prepares for a pivotal stretch in its development. What remains certain is this: Caitlin Clark is fully healthy, fiercely motivated, and ready to reclaim her dominance. Her talent is undeniable, her ceiling unmatched, and her impact on the sport transformative. But the lingering question, the one that will define not just her future, but the franchise's, is whether the Indiana Fever can rise to the occasion. Can the organization provide clear communication, strategic stability, and a trustworthy environment worthy of its brightest star? Can leadership align on a vision that reflects Clark's influence and the modern direction of the WNBA? The answers will soon shape the trajectory of both the team and the league. Right now, the stakes have never been higher. Clark's return is set. Her potential is limitless. But the true test lies with the organization surrounding her, and whether they're prepared to support the future they've been gifted.